Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, distinguished learned Attorney General, President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Vice President Mr. Khanna, Acting Honorary Secretary Mr. Mishra, very distinguished senior colleagues and members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. This of course is both important as indeed a natural celebration for all of us on an occasion where we recognize the services of the legion of great freedom fighters and those who have built India since independence, institutions of our country, aspirations of our country, serviced by generations that have passed before us. But as I stand here today to join you in the celebration of independent India, I cannot but say that this independence, although brought about by the strife and struggle of some extremely eminent public figures, is an independence that is secured, maintained, preserved and protected in myriad ways by generations of judges who have adorned the corridors and the portals of the Supreme Court of our country, as indeed the very distinguished high courts across the country. And therefore I stand here to pay tribute not only to the freedom fighters who gave us freedom, but to you as freedom fighters who preserved our freedom. And I hope that this is more than just a symbolic gesture that we can make today, not simply a symbolic reiteration and reaffirmation of our commitment to independence and freedom, but also to make it a substantive occasion and a moment which I believe in his speech to you, the Honorable Chief Justice will certainly show the way forward on. We have heard him in the past and we have been inspired greatly both by the speeches that we have heard on occasions such as this one and indeed by the lead that he's given to the Honorable Supreme Court and very distinguished judges who are present here in taking the law in a direction that I believe will meet the true aspirations of the people of our country. As I stand here today and we gather to celebrate this momentous occasion, we cannot but be conscious of enormous challenges that face our society. The Prime Minister spoke this morning of the aspirations of millions of our people for education, for release from poverty, for emancipation from disadvantage, and also to live a happy, good and prosperous life. And what we as a nation have a commitment to. But somewhere in those challenges are also what I call philosophical challenges. Philosophical challenges where claims and counterclaims of equity, where re-engineering and reprocessing our thought processes in this country, as indeed looking and fine-tuning institutions that should deliver according to the will of the people. And I do believe that there is a great role that is both played and has to be played by the Supreme Court of our country. The Supreme Court will lead us towards a new definition of the philosophy of the welfare of our people, of public interest, and indeed of what equity means both between generations as well as competing claims within a generation. And I must acknowledge and say this on behalf of the government that we have been enlightened, inspired and guided enormously by the wisdom of the Supreme Court. If it appears sometimes that we are constrained to disagree, and disagree in a manner in which the Constitution permits, in the limited way in which the Constitution in separation of powers allows a wholesome tension to exist between different organs of government so as to provide from the thesis and antithesis the synthesis that is ultimately good for the entire country and our people. It is simply because we honestly believe that there can be differences between honest people, between noble souls. And may I then therefore take this opportunity to flag two important matters that I believe that the judges of this generation and indeed judges of coming generations will have to offer to our country and to our society. One being that even as the philosophical questions of politics and indeed of social welfare are decided generation after generation, built upon step by step, and we all know as lawyers how far the Supreme Court has brought us from the simple language of the Constitution to an intricate web of rights that have been created under various articles. And this, one imagines, will continue. But a critical matter that we would look forward to guidance on is the matter of how we deal with emerging economic ideas and emerging economic reality of the globe. Can we say to ourselves that we will be but an island in a world which is changing? And that is something that we repudiated many years ago when we said that we are part of a global scenario, we are part of a global scene to which we will not only contribute but from which we shall even absorb and take. As Gandhiji said, the windows of our mind must be open and the windows of our society must be open